I am your host, John Keene. As always, I would like to thank you guys for joining me. Ask that you please add, follow, check us out Instagram, Facebook, Best Damn Podcast, Twitter, The Real Best Damn. Wherever you're watching from, please make sure to hit the like, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and share this link. It helps me to get it out there. That way, new people can find me. Uh, Hopefully, we can get some people in the chat over here on YouTube. It does take a little bit of time sometimes with these streams. I am excited. Really excited tonight. For those of you guys who don't know, Saturday will be my birthday, so I wanted to do a live stream really quick before I get into this weekend. So tonight we're going to be talking about awareness. Awareness, and I feel like it's a really really important topic too, especially considering just the climate, basically politically, especially right now with everything that's going on, with the upcoming elections and all of that. You can really see that people, at this point in time, they do have this major lack of awareness, as far as like what the score is, in our society and in our world. People still being sucked in by two parties, right? Still believing in the left and right paradigm, whether it's, how many different assassination attempts, that's been on Trump to try to, get these sympathy points right through the media, or, all of the bullshit we see by the mainstream media talking about Kamala and how she smoked his ass in the debate. It's got people heavily divided, right? This is not a new trick, this happens every time. Not a new trick, it happens every time. And we've talked about this like for a very long time too, a lot of people, and it's crazy really to see, especially in 2024, to see people that still fucking believe at this stage in the game that anybody that could be a presidential candidate is not part of the machine, right? Like they're not part of, this one world government, that they're not bought and paid for, Zionist shills, that they're not Freemasons, like however you want to chop it up, right? Whatever you want to chop it up, you got people still trusting the plan, right? What, fucking 8 years later? Waiting on arrests that are never going to come, waiting for, Trump's going to do it this time, right? This time. It's only been 8 years, he's going to get those pedos. I posted actually some pictures with him and Epstein on Facebook, and it's like people have such cognitive dissonance that they can't accept anything outside of, and it's really because what social media does to reinforce our beliefs, because of the algorithms and the way that they work, is they jam, whatever we're into right back down our throats, right? So we get our same beliefs reinforced. There's no mix, right, of anything that's going to give you a different point of view or a different perspective other than what you're actually looking for. That's how these algorithms work. Now, you may get something that's the polar opposite, but once again, the polar opposite beliefs are only going to serve to reinforce, what you're already vehemently, in support of. So I posted some images of, Trump with Epstein and shit, and, you should have seen the comments. It's like people, these are images that have been out for years, decades actually. Him and Ghislaine Maxwell and all these different people, and people just still, that's AI, that's not real, right? That's not real. Same thing with Kamala Harris, her start with Montel Williams and all of this, it's like people can't accept anything other than what their televisions tell them, They only want to accept, and this is a sad state that we've gotten into too, where it's no longer reality that matters, you know? And this is what's dangerous, you know, about a lot of the new age shit too, because, and I hate to say it, yes, we do have the power of attraction and the ability to manifest and create and co-create any fucking thing we want to. We really truly do, right? But at the same time, you know, there is a corporate reality, right? A collective corporate reality that we have this shared experience with, right? This agreed upon reality, you know? And within that paradigm, you know, within this matrix, you know, this corporate, collective, agreed upon reality, there are certain things that are just truths and there are certain things that are just false, right? You know, and it's not up to interpretation. Now, we have so many people, you know, in this day and age, they think gender is up for interpretation, right? It's not about biology, it's about your feelings. You know, I feel like a girl, so I'm a girl. I feel like a lion, so I'm a lion. I feel like a panda, I'm a panda, right? And this is why they've been able to accomplish so much of what they've been able to accomplish with censorship as well, right? Because it's about feelings, right? And I want to kind of just point out to you too, like, this is how mind control works, by the way, right? They do it through provoking emotional responses, because what it does is when we trigger an emotional response, it cuts off the logical side of our brains, right? So if they can get an entire populace that are not thinking, but feeling their way through everything, you know, they're very easily manipulated, very easily handled, very easily controlled, you know. It's like, oh, you said this about Jesus. I did a video, a week ago, you know, and it was like covering the Amon Hillman stuff and, you know, asking the question, you know, like, why in the book of Mark was there this naked boy in the garden, you know, with Jesus? And it's not to say that Jesus was a pedo or anything like that. That wasn't what the point I was trying to create there with that video. I was trying to get people to open up their minds and consider something outside of what they've been taught, right? What they've been taught. To consider a different perspective, a different point of view, to look at something, you know, with a different understanding than maybe, you know, the collective corporate understanding, or, you know, whatever they hear in Christianity, you know. And it's like, people claim to do that, especially in the truth community. They claim to do these things, but it's not really true, right? There's still this accepted, you know, what's accepted within the spiritual community as well. Wanted to let you know, no, we're not doing that, bro. Let me get rid of this guy. Hold on, guys. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, like, even within the spiritual community, you know, it's people, they act like they've been freed. Like, you know, I'm woke, I'm awake now, right? I'm aware now. But you're truly not, you know, because most of the time, you know, you're still within these parameters, within this box, right, of what's acceptable, whether it's like, you know, you know, per se, like, let's just say, you know, with the Christ stuff, you know, and with Jesus, you know, that's unacceptable, right? It's unacceptable to even ask the question, right? It's even considered offensive. It turns people off, you know. It doesn't matter what the language says. And, like, I mean, think about the Vatican, you know, all of these guys, like, for generations, they've been in trouble for molesting, you know, little boys. And if you look into all of the Black Death, and, like, you know, you go watch the video, you know, all of that shit kind of, it pans out, you know, it tracks, it really does. It doesn't mean that, you know, Jesus was the one doing that, but it also doesn't mean that they didn't put that in there intentionally. You got to think, like, the Council of Nicaea, right? These Romans that were, you know, they were definitely, you know, part of these rituals and practices, you know, they put that together. They put those doctrines together, you know. But that's what I mean. Like, people don't want the truth. They just want what feels good to them, you know. Our algorithms are constantly pushing shit to us all day. Like, and I do tarot readings too, so I can tell you this, you know, for a fact. I'll give people readings, you know, all the time. You know, and I already know when I gotta tell somebody something shitty or something bad, you know, that's going to be the part of the reading that they reject. It's always and that's the part they need the most, usually, just to keep it real. It's always the part about ourselves that sucks the worst, the part about reality that sucks the worst, that we usually need the most, you know? Same thing goes with society. Same thing goes with religion, you know? It's all the things that really kind of, you know, fuck us up. You know, it's like to find out, to see, to experience, to know. And if anybody's ever really went through spiritual awakening, you know it's called circumambulation, right? There's layers, like a fucking onion, you know, within ourselves. And I find this to be true for myself every day. I'm not immune to any of this. I'm still fucked up and a work in progress like everybody, very clearly. But it's like, you know, it's the things I don't want to admit the most about myself, my flaws, my defects, you know, where I lack in life. Like, you know, that's what continues to show up in my sphere and in my realm. And it rears its ugly head, you know, to show me in my reality that this is a place I'm weak at. Right? This is a point in myself that I'm not wanting to recognize, so it's going to pop up in other people. Right? Not what you're saying. Okay. I do not know where the fuck some of these people came from in the chat tonight, but hey, whatever, right? Will I take a dare? And you want to gas me up, and I will, motherfucker. But I mean, you know, and this is what we're doing, you know, within society. You know, we're only willing to look at the parts that feel good. You know, and I just brought this up, you know, a moment ago. This is why you see all of the political divide. This is why you see all the divide over gender and shit like that, right? I feel like a female, therefore I'm a female. Has nothing to do with biology, right? If you have a penis, you're a male. You know, you have a cock, dude. You're a male. You know, it doesn't mean you can't go out and be what you want to be, become what you want to become. You know, but at the same time, you know, it's like we're trying to force everybody else to accept our insanity, to accept our psychosis. You know. Oh, well, Trump's a savior? Well, everybody better accept that, because if they don't, right, then they're lefties, right? They're soy boys, and they're, you know, all these milquetoast motherfuckers. Like, you can just, I mean, insert, you know, derogatory comment here, you know? It's like you have to be a liberal if you don't agree with Trump. Why? Because they only understand that divide, you know? They can't even fathom that there's people out there that see right through both sides of the shit and know that he's controlled opposition. You know? And I mean, motherfucker, you know, January 6th and the Capitol riots, if people after that point still couldn't see it, you'll never see it. You'll never see it. That was one of the biggest false flag events I've ever seen in my fucking life. You know, and I've done videos on it. Those who belong to my Patreon, you've seen it. I think you can see some of them on BitChute too. But it's like, you know, we see fucking movie glass, exploding blood packets. There's not even real police badges on these motherfuckers, fake tear gas, all this shit, right? And these riots, and he's the guy calling for people to go there, right, and protest, you know? Because he's setting up his own followers for the woo. Just like we never seen censorship, you know, in our fucking time in the United States and in the world around us, until he came into office. And who got censored first? The people that followed him. See, Stalin said that the best way to control the opposition is to lead them, right? That's how you control the opposition. And that's why when they talk about it's an information warfare, what they're talking about is it's psychological warfare. And that's why everything is based on feeling now. That's why it's all about feeling what my gender is, right? Feeling what I am. Feeling. It has nothing to do with a policy. It has nothing to do with stats. It has nothing to do with facts. It has nothing to do with truth. Just how I feel. Because once we get into that emotional state, we can't think straight, right? That logical side cuts off, and that's what trauma-based mind control does, you know? They get that traumatic experience, and they gas us up, and they prime us, guys, and they've been doing this to us for fucking eons, you know? But especially now in the modern age with media and television and movies and all of that, you know? These horrific experiences, like, you know, 9/11 and, you know, all of these different, you know, terror events, wars on drugs, wars on terror, wars on COVID, right? They're all wars on you is what they are, you know? But they create this collective trauma and this experience that way we're all fucked up, right? We all have this place to where we hear something, a topic gets brought up, we go into that trauma once again, and we can't think straight, right? We can't talk straight. We can't understand what's being given to us. We can't retain the information. We can't process the information the way that we're supposed to. You know? You ever hear about satanic ritual abuse? It's the same way. You know? They'll torture people. Why? You know? And it's all really pulling on your energy. See, in witchcraft and in magic, and in witchcraft and magic, it's all about our focus and our intent. You know, our focus and our intent. And our emotions is energy and motion, right? So it starts off with a thought first, okay? Starts off with a thought first. That's where it begins. And that thought becomes that emotion. That emotion is giving off literal, energetic gas, right? That's why when you see like sex magic and shit, right? That's the power of creation, right? Life, you know? Life. And what's actually happening is those emotions, when people are having sex, charge the air so much because they're giving off so much emotion, right? That's when they speak the ritual, right? After the act, when the air is charged with the emotion. Same thing. On a massive global scale, though, you know, you got all of these people, you know, and they're being fed, and you know, and if you can think about like the Roman circus and all of this shit, right? How they kept people, you know, pacified even back then, you know, by keeping them distracted, you know. And you ever look at like the way Colosseums and shit are built? They're built like giant fucking speakers, right? Energetic amplifiers, you know, literally. That's why sports stadiums, all of this, man, they're designed like this. I ain't saying nothing. You say Christ is Lord. I ain't got to say shit. And see, and that's the thing, you know. That's the thing. You've been taught through a religion that, you know, anybody that denies that Jesus is the Christ is an antichrist, right? You have. But you probably missed the message. It was like, we are all that. You know. Christ is king. Well, Christ means an anointing, right? It's a spiritual anointing. It's a title, Christos. Right? Christos, it's a Greek word, it means anointing. And what that anointing actually is, you know, has to do with the sacred secretion that comes from our pineal gland, you know, which, you know, is that Kundalini activation. And there's a million other ways that can happen. And that's why you see, and I don't know if I can even say this on here, but that's why you see like a lot of certain things be, you know, pushed to the public and the masses now as well, because there's several ways to activate that within a person, you know, whether it's, you know, through drugs, through sound and vibration, right, which is hemispheric synchronization, You know, and that's why, you know, in a lot of different meditations, you'll see the Om and all of that, because you're making the vibration in your skull, right? And then there's the vagus nerve, which is the back door, right? That actually triggers it too. So that's why you see a lot of the sodomy and shit like that. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Yeah. Sin City. Yeah. So there's more than one way to skin a cat on that. And when you start to look at a lot of these cults and clubs and shit like that, then you start to really understand why they do what they do, right? And we even talked about this in the video about, you know, the book of Mark and Jesus and the children, all that, and the Garden of Gethsemane, right? And how the antibodies within, you know, a prepubescent boy, you know, in his pre-cum, and the antibodies in a prepubescent girl in her, you know, that was actually used as an antidote for some of the drugs that they were taking back then for, you know, initiation rituals, right? It'd probably be akin to like something like dimethyltryptamine or, you know, psilocybin or whatever today, you know. All right, bud, you're gonna have to quit spamming here. I don't know where these people come from, man, for real. You know, YouTube's changed so much, honestly, it really has. The only reason I even do YouTube at all these days is because, you know, I just had so many good people over the years. What did he do? Yeah. Well, right, well, we already know what's going to happen with Diddy. It's going to be just like Epstein, right? We already know. You know, we already know. And if you, I mean, you think about this, guys, like, there's nothing new under the sun. You know, and in these industries, what we call celebrities and shit, that's where you see most of this shit take place. Because people are willing to do anything to be famous. People are willing to do anything to have wealth. People are willing to do anything to be desired. You know? Think about it on a smaller level, like a more minuscule level, right? Let's think about it on a smaller level, right? Think about the shit, the fucked up, corrupted shit that people, you know, I live in the city here in Cincinnati, right? Think about the corruption that you'll see just in the city that people are willing to do for money, right? They'll sell themselves. They'll fucking steal, kill, lie. They'll do anything, you know, for money. You know, and that's on a small scale. So a lot of these people have no integrity. They have no character. They have no spiritual essence to them to start with. So, do you think it bothers them one bit to participate in a ritual and, you know, sell their soul? You know, or sign themselves over to someone else or another entity or a corporation or anything like that? Not at all. You know, you got to think of the people, you know, to even get to the level they got to, right? A lot of people probably had to do a lot of fucked up things. Not everybody gets there by honest means, you know. And what's sad, and this is the saddest part, most of the most beautiful minds and creative people actually got there by doing good things through God, you know, through God. You know, and it's like, that's what actually took them to the highest level. And once they got to the highest level, they forgot what got them there, right? And thought that they had to play ball with the, you know, with the darkness, you know. And then you see what happens to them. They lose their money, they lose their fame, they lose everything usually. Because that's what that deal with the devil really is, you know, the Faustian bargain. And a lot of us are participating in the Faustian deal, whether we think we are or not. You know, by day-to-day life, when we're compromising our morals, our integrity, and our character, right, to do things to get ahead. You know, every time we compromise ourselves, you know, for money, for recognition, to feel desired, to feel wanted, all of these things, right, for selfish reasons, selfish motivations. You know, we sell a little bit of ourselves. We lose a little piece of ourselves, you know. And I want you to think about, what the 40-hour work week is. It's modern day slavery. It's basically, and not for everybody. Some people love their vocation. They love their jobs. They're doing what they love. And they would do it for free. They love it so much, and that's beautiful. But other people had dreams. They had dreams. They wanted to do amazing things in this world. They wanted to make their mark. And they traded that. They traded that, for a 40-hour work week and a paycheck, insurance and a 401k, a house, a car, wife, husband, whatever, right? Like whatever they wanted, whatever their standard. And that's why they create these standards of success. These standards of success are created because they want you to, to try to keep up with the Joneses. Because if you don't have this sense of needing to do that, this sense of needing to belong, this sense of competition between your fellow man, when the only person you should ever be in competition with is yourself, right? But somehow we hold a metric to our brothers and sisters and our neighbors, right? And that's how we deem, whether or not we're successful, by the other people. If you're a content creator, you'll say, oh, well, I've got tens of thousands of followers. I'm reaching fucking 1 million people a month, right? But then you look at the guy reaching 10 million, and you want to get there, instead of just running your own race, being your own man or woman, right? Doing your own thing. And there's nothing wrong with aspiring and wanting to reach a greater level or to be more successful at something, right? There's nothing wrong with that at all. But when we're doing it because we feel less, because we're not at that level, that's when something's wrong. And we're all guilty of it from time to time. I think if we're really honest with ourselves, everybody in this world has had a day in their life where they felt envious, or they've coveted something or someone or whatever that someone else had. I know I have. I feel like I'd be full of shit if I said I didn't. Well, some of you guys are, I don't know. I see the comments here. Some of y'all are fucked up. But that's on you, man. At the end of the day, like, you're never going to be anything if you can't love yourself. And that's been the hardest thing for me, is to learn to love myself. Life throws a lot of shit at all of us here. Everybody's traumatized. Everybody's fucked up. It hurt people. So we're just passing that shit on, to one another. We're taking out on other people what other people have done to us. Think about relationships, just for example. They say a lot of times, when you get into a relationship with somebody, you can tell what's been done to that person in the past by the way that they treat you, right? And the ways that they are emotionally unavailable and the ways that they are abusive are the ways that they've been emotionally abused, right? The ways that they've been treated by another person, that another person wasn't available to them. And you can guarantee it. It's usually how it goes, right? It's usually how it goes. Real men choose respect over love. Is that so though? I feel like love is respect though, right? Like, love is respect. It really is. You can't have love without respect. I was reading this study, and I was actually talking to my girlfriend about this the other day. And it was I was reading this study, and it was saying the number one reason of why actually, relationships, marriages, all that shit actually break apart is because a lack of respect. Whether it's somebody couldn't provide something, whether it was sexual, gratification, whether it was financial, whatever the fuck it was that the other person wanted or felt they need, right? And they probably felt they needed it because other people around them had it, just to be honest. Or they were told that that's what they were supposed to have in a person, right? And not understanding that, that give and take doesn't have to be this cookie cutter fucking, rendition of what you think a relationship should be, Some people give more emotionally, other people give more financially. Like, it's what works for you, You don't got to follow some fucking, booklet or something of what people tell you it should be. Only we think that because we're programmed to think that, right? But these relationships, they break down because of a lack of respect. So it's like, once I stop respecting you, I stop trying. I stop trying. I'm no longer going to put more effort in because I don't respect you. I'm no longer going to, be attentive to your needs and your feelings because I don't respect you. I'm no longer going to be faithful because I don't respect you. And this is what allows people to walk away. But I feel like, and if you think about it too, if this really kind of happens to you, I feel like you probably were in that relationship for the wrong reason anyways. You know what I'm saying? You probably were. You really was. Because it was built on something external or what that person could do for you instead of who the person was. And that's why I shit so sideways today. Like I said, everything runs on feelings now. Whether it's filling out our gender, filling our political party, what our religion feels right? Why does it feel right to be Christian? Because you were told that's right. So you feel guilty and like you're going to hell if you deviate. Don't you? That's one of the hardest ones to break, y'all. I'm telling you. It's one of the fucking hardest ones to break. Is the religion one. You feel there's only two choices in politics, and that you have to identify with one of the two. And think about how the identity politics actually work. If you're gay, you have to be liberal. If you're of a color, a minority, you have to be liberal, right? Like, and I'm not saying everybody is, but I'm saying for the most part, you'll be shamed by your peers if you don't. You'll be treated as a sellout. You'll be treated as a sellout because you're the one trying to deviate from what the societal norm is. Trust and respect is earned. Yes, I agree. Trust and respect is earned. Trust and respect is most definitely earned. But at the same time with the whole trust thing, yeah, trust is earned, but also we have to give trust too. And that's the thing. Like, I can only speak for myself. I know because of past things I've been in. I've gotten in relationships and not given people the trust I probably should have given them. Because it should be innocent, until proven guilty. Until a person starts giving you reason to doubt, you shouldn't doubt them. You should come in healed. And we get so much, the new age shit fucks people up, guys. I'm telling you, it's the most fucked up thing I've ever seen happening. And this is what most people that now, consider themselves to be aware and awake, they participate in the whole new age shit. They call everything self-love when it's really selfish, right? You're being selfish, but you call it self-love, right? Everything motivated by satisfying oneself, when that's, and you notice the people that buy into this shit never have happy, successful relationships, ever. Love is selfless, not selfish, Then you're going to have a happy partnership if everything is about putting yourself first. No. It's a compromise, man. 50-50. And that's why 70% of marriages in the first year end in divorce. We've been programmed now. Right? They're not ambitious, meaning they're not greedy, right? Ambition is greed, right? You wanting more than what you need. But see, this is how we pervert things through language, through societal norms, There's nothing wrong with people, being satisfied with just, with getting by. Nothing wrong with it at all. But some people see that as unattractive, right? Because they're not trying to get all they can get. I'm sorry, I wouldn't want to work my entire life away. I would like to enjoy my existence, I guess to each their own, I agree. It is selflessness that makes the world go round. Absolutely, I agree on that. Because, and it's like a lot of people in spiritual communities say nobody's gonna come save you, and that is true. Like, nobody's gonna save you. Like, no God's coming down from the sky to rescue your fucking ass. You gotta rescue yourself in life. But it's not completely true, because there are people who will come into your life, dude. And they may save you from yourself. They may save you, So it does happen. It does happen, But in order for us to have those experiences, we have to be open to them, We have to be open to them. If we're all convinced, and I hate this too, everybody, has this idea of all the healing has to take place by yourself, right? Well, yes, there is a certain amount of healing that needs to take place alone. That's a fact. Guys, I'm telling you, when I was single, I was so motherfucking healed. It was crazy, right? I thought I was ready for the world. I'm like, damn, like I've gotten over all this shit. Get in a relationship, right? And you see that all that healing can't take place being single and alone. It just can't happen, right? You don't, when you're in a dynamic with another person, that's when a lot of those issues and shit are actually brought up to the surface. When it's just you, it's only you, your world revolving around you all the time, That's why a lot of people who don't want to face their own shit, choose to be single a lot of times, or commitment phobes and shit like that. They're not really afraid of commitment. They're really just afraid of changing themselves, It's like, I don't want commitment, because if I have to commit, that means that I have to change the things that are fucked up about me. I have to look at myself and my habits and my actions and the way that I treat people, right? And I know for me, that was a thing for a long time, dude. I was like a kind of a womanizer, and it wasn't because I didn't, I was afraid to be in a relationship. It's because I was afraid to, like, look at my own shit, Because the other person ain't gonna fucking sit there and lie to you. If they love you, they're gonna tell you. Like, yo, you're fucked up. Yo, you can't treat people that way. I shrugged off your cry for help. Bro, this ain't the suicide fucking hotline. I don't know what to tell you, homie. It's a video, man. I'm sorry. Email me. And most people in the chat's just trolling anyways. So, sorry about that. But not sorry. You shouldn't be in the chat trying to get attention. You should be listening. Maybe soaking some shit up, actually. And, like I'm saying, this is what we're being programmed to think. Like, hey, we can only heal when we're alone. We can only heal when we're alone. But the real healing takes place when you actually are committed to another person. That's when the real war with yourself begins. That's when you really see what's wrong with you. And it ain't pretty a lot of times. Like I said, a lot of times we project onto other people the things that have been done to us. And I do it. We all do it. We can say we don't, but most of us are probably full of shit if we say so. See purple streetlights? Yeah, I'm are you a vampire? I am a vampire. Yes, I am. Yes. I am a vampire. Yes, I am. Absolutely. What is wrong with you? I don't know. Ask my therapist or my mother or my girlfriend, maybe. Maybe my kids will tell you. I don't know. Show your teeth. There you go. You want anything else? See what I mean? Like, this is just a bunch of trolls. You know? Just a bunch of trolls. So, the reason I even did this video tonight, because I just want to do a video, you know, for one, talking about some of the things I'm talking about. But Saturday is my birthday, and I wanted to get a video out before my birthday. There we go. There's a moderator. Hey, Chrono, bust their ass, bro. Bounce them out if they're on bullshit. All of them. So. Happy birthday. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And I will be running to the end of this weekend. Maybe to the end of the month. I'll be 41. So I'm going to do tarot readings for 41 bucks for the rest of the month. Just because of that, you know. You guys want to donate, PayPal, Cash App, Facebook Messenger, Patreon. All the links are in the description. In the chat too, I think. But thank you guys. Thank you for the happy birthdays. I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks, dude. I look like I'm in my 20s. Thank you. I appreciate that. That makes me feel good. I get really depressed. Excuse me. I get really depressed around birthday times, man. Right? That's that time of self-reflection. That time of self-reflection. It's like you're looking at your life like, what the fuck have I done with my life? You know? That keeping up with the Jones shit, bro. I'm telling you. It'll drain your soul right out of you. It really will. It really will. Make you wonder, because we were told, 41 people in the chat, because we're told, you know, by a certain age, we got to be married, we got to be homeowners, we got to have this many children, and, you know, like, and we buy into that shit. Buy into that shit. Any numerology on those numbers? Which numbers are you talking about? 41 or? Am I a serial killer? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm a serial killer. And a vampire. And a Luciferian. And a cult leader. 4 is a number of stability. Absolutely, yeah. And the 1 don't actually count. So a lot of times in numerology, depending on which version of numerology we're using, right, the 1 will drop. But even if you did add the 1, it'd be 5, which is the pentacle, the pentagram. So, and 5 is about sex, right? It's a number of sex, you know. So people don't really know this. So I was like telling my girlfriend too, like if I was ever going to get married, I'd get married on the 28th, you know, of the month, because 28 is a number of wealth. You know, we're in an 8 year, actually. 8 is a number of wealth, but 28 is double that, right? And you think about like some of the richest people in the world, like Vladimir Putin, you know, and shit. Like they were married on the 28th, born on the 28th, like all this shit. Like that's how they have that money. You know, numerology is basically like, you know, that's why math is the universal language. It is the matrix code, you know. In the beginning was the word, right? It's language. Without language, we wouldn't have, you know, the ability to even be conscious of ourselves, period. You know, that's what thought is, right? Is you speak into your own self, right? A transmission from your higher self projected from the stars. And that's, you know, if we get into, you know, a lot of my videos, we talk about it, you know, in the beginning, you know, in Genesis, it talks about we were made in the image of the Elohim, right? Elohim means supreme ones, supreme magistrates, right? Which, you know, translates to angels, stars, luminaries, heavenly host, planets, right? Planets. And that's why the 7 chakras correlate to the 7 main planets, the 7 colors of the rainbow, right? All of that. That's why you see, You know, the gay pride flag, it's that rainbow flipped upside down, putting sex on top, right? It's perverse, you know. I'm not saying that people are perverse that do that. I'm saying that the flag is telegraphing that you know, it's upside down, the rainbow. What ain't they hiding in the name of gangstalking? Yeah, I've dealt with gangstalking for years. Yeah, years. Targeted individuals. Most people don't even think that shit's real, dude. They really don't. You know, you tell them that that shit's happening, they can't accept it. They can't accept. You know what they think a lot of times? If you tell them that you're a TI, a targeted individual, you know, and any one of you guys could be. You don't have to be famous. You don't got to be rich. You ain't got to be shit to be one. You just got to run your mouth. You know, holistic doctors, lawyers that defend the wrong people. Like, you know, they get everybody. And a lot of people take it as like this ego thing, you know. They're like, if you call yourself a targeted individual, say you're a TI, they think it's because you think you're so important that the government would target you. You know, they don't even think that the government does this stuff, no matter even if they've, you know, it's all been, you know, declassified. Snowden and all of this has put it all out there, but they, you know, still, you know, that's a conspiracy, right? Even though the conspiracy theorist is a weaponized term developed in the Warren Commission after the JFK assassination, because why? Right? They wanted to shut motherfuckers' mouths that said that the government killed him. You know? NPCs in the human flesh, bro. Right. Non-player characters. Right? Non-player characters. Well, think about it. You know, that's why they call you guys useless eaters, right? It's the 1% of the 1%, you know, because they are NPCs. They don't actually play the main character in their life. They think they do, but they don't. They can't even hear their own voice. So when they hear the voice of God, they can't even recognize that it's themselves. They don't hear that subconscious pattern through all the language like some of you do, right? Some of you guys can hear the meaning within the meaning of the things I say. Others of you cannot, right? We all have the ability to, you know, but I've explained this before. You know, consciousness is like, you know, there's different waves, right? So depending on what vibration you're on, what frequency you're on, that's going to be the perspective you're going to see things from. Think about it like a skyscraper. If you're on the 10th floor, everything is going to be a 10th floor perspective for you. If you're on the bottom floor, everything's going to be a bottom floor perspective. If you're on the top of the fucking roof, then you're looking down with a bird's eye view on everything, right? And when we speak, we have the ego, the lower carnal self, the lesser self that's speaking, right? Out of the left brain, right? Through our language, right? That's saying one thing. But behind that, right, we have subliminal messaging, which are those subconscious patterns that are coming through. And a lot of people don't pick up on that, you know. And in our televisions and in the media and all of that, you know, they put that through us. That's why they put symbolism. You know, you can see a symbol, and it doesn't matter if you're aware of what you're seeing or not. Your brain is aware of it. Your brain interprets it, right? Your brain connects with the frequency, because all a symbol is an energetic expression, right, of a frequency. So it's like a archetypical character, right? A character representing an archetypical pattern or an energetic expression, and your brain is connecting to that transmission, that pattern, right? And you're picking up on that vibe. You go somewhere else, bro. That's enough. Get your ass out of here. And nobody asked you to join. Don't even care if you're here. Like, I don't see why people would even, and the cops are gonna pull up on me.
How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm streaming.
Okay. Just making sure you know all these businesses are
Yes,
closed.
sir.
So
Yes,
we'll
sir.
check.
I'm streaming on YouTube.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right,
This is just,
be careful.
yes, sir. This is just the Cincinnati police, guys. They're good people. Jesus. You guys see them cops here? Happy birthday, John. Thank you. Mel. Hey, Mel. We'll do your reading tomorrow, by the way. Being targeted by directed energy weapons. Yeah, I've had that happen years back. What I'm saying is true. It is true, right? It is true. It's up for people to accept it or not. So delusional, right? Right? It seems like a delusion to you, right? Seems like a delusion to you. And that's because you're sound asleep. You know? You believe what your television tells you. You know? You don't even own your own thoughts. You were given your thoughts. Your religion was given to you. Your political beliefs were given to you. Everything in your little small world was given to you. Right? You've never had an original thought in your fucking life. Of course it's delusional to you. Right? Jesus is a... Okay. You guys are clowning tonight. Well, look now. I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream. You guys are fucktards. I do want to thank you guys for joining me. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not. If you guys want to drop a birthday donation, like I said, my birthday's Saturday. PayPal.me, the Best Damn Podcast. Cash App, Best Damn Podcast. Join us over on Patreon. Patreon.com, Best Damn Podcast Official. Or you can do Facebook Messenger page. Facebook.com, John Keane, Best Damn Podcast. Follow me, Instagram, Facebook, Best Damn Podcast. Twitter, The Real Best Damn. YouTube, Best Damn Podcast Official. And Best Damn Podcast. And TikTok, The Best Damn Podcast. I hope you guys have an awesome evening. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching. Even the goofballs, I still appreciate you guys too. You're still running up the scores for me, whether you're an idiot or not. So I love you guys. Y'all have an awesome night, and I will see you next time. Peace.